I think you got a lot of anchors at CNN that are getting nervous. So they're really nervous right now at CBS News, but they're also really nervous at CNN, where they're realizing their days may be numbered. Because in a merger, what happens? Typically, you lose jobs. You're going to have duplication of talent. You don't necessarily need everyone that you thought you needed, including, well, the guy they just outed, or he left. I don't really know the details over at CBS. The CBS Evening News anchor, John Dickerson. So a lot of people here probably dropping like flies. Gail King, handwriting's on the wall, you cost too much. And then this guy, Tapper. I mean, I really am wondering how long he sticks around. We've seen multiple articles about the fear there that you see with CNN having layoffs coming. I mean, we've got CBS, more layoffs expected next week. You've already had some layoffs at CNN, with more possibly on the way in light of this potential merger. In the meantime, Jakey boy, I swear to God, he's looking for a job at Fox as we speak. I mean, why else would he write the book he wrote? Why else would he suddenly try and sound conservative, although not all the time? In fact, there's this great moment, you guys, a fantastic moment where Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former governor of California, totally takes him down, because they're talking about the possibility of gerrymandering in California, and Jake's getting all hot and bothered and, hot under the collar about the possibility that, oh my goodness, they're going to do some redistricting. And he's like, hey, buddy, have you been around? Like, this is the way the world works. This is a great clip. It's gone totally viral. It took off on the Shorts channel this morning. I want to show you.
As you acknowledged, this all started because of redistricting in Texas, and this was Trump pushing Republican-controlled states to throw out their current congressional maps so as to cook the book, so that it is less likely for Democrats to retake control of the House during the next year midterms. I mean, is it fair to argue that do you believe that the Republican Party is starting this?
No, Jake. There has been gerrymandering going on for 200 years. There is such extreme gerrymandering going on that in a state like Massachusetts, that has like 40% of the people voting for Trump, they have 0 representatives. The Republican Party has 0 representatives sent to the House. Think about that. In New Mexico, if 45% of the people voted for Trump and voted Republican, and 0 is sent to the House, 0 representative from the Republican Party. So there's gerrymandering, crazy gerrymandering going on all over the country, and we wanted to try to stop it in California, and we did stop it in California, and we went around the country. So I think this whole thing about finger pointing and saying they did it, so therefore we should doing it, that's not really the way to go. The one party should outperform the other party. It should be performance. And when it comes to midterm elections, as you know, always the party that is not in the White House usually wins by 20, 25, 30 seats. So what does 5 seats matter in the first place in Texas? It is crazy. Yeah. We should outperform them. That is the way the action is.
What do you think about that, Jake? So, I thought it was a pretty good takedown, and I like how Arnold Schwarzenegger is getting out there lately, and he took down The View, of course. Oh, Whoopi, she didn't know what to do, nor did Joy. I mean, they were there with their mouths on the floor, right? As he said to them, hey, wait a second, you're an immigrant in this country. You should act like you're a guest in this country. You should be grateful to this country. You should have respect for this country. I mean, they didn't know what to do, right? So Arnold Schwarzenegger is getting out in front of some of these things. I'm kind of wondering why. Like, what's that about? Like, does he have political aspirations? Does he want to come back as governor of California? I don't entirely know, but I'm impressed that he's out there taking down the media in real time. Jakey, I don't know what it means for you, however, if you're really trying to get that job at Fox, right? Or even if you're trying to get on the good side of Barry, given that, well, your network might get absorbed by her and CBS. You got to actually seem like you're a little bit more fair. And like, if we go back in time, this is one guy who's just not fair. Remember? I will never forget this. And I'm sorry if you've seen it before, but you should never forget this either. Because at a time when the country was at risk of putting somebody who was seriously in mental decline, one Joe Biden, in as president, The likes of Jake Tapper and every other anchor in mainstream media were trying to tell us we were the crazy ones because we're like, hey, maybe he's not doing so well. And do not forget for 1 second what he said in his takedown of Lara Trump live on air. Watch.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You have
to watch somebody on stage search for
it's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were
stuttering,
mocking his stutter.
Yeah,
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar.
Wow.
And I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar. I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
I'm not diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
you just talked
is
about
that
a cognitive decline.
That Joe Biden
I have one last
struggling
question for you, Laura. You can't
times on stage, and it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay,
that is.
Hell yeah.
I genuinely feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure.
You know what? I will never get tired of seeing that because I think it's just really important to remember. He's trying to remarket himself right now. Completely remarket himself as though he's some kind of independent that called for Joe Biden's firing. I mean, this was like just a few weeks before he suddenly decided after that disastrous debate to admit the truth to America.
Discernible pattern of Democratic officials seemingly trying to convince you, the public, to not believe what you saw and what you heard with your eyes and with your ears on Thursday night.
Yeah.
What I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare,
yeah,
the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Democratic officials have tried to spin this in many ways. They said President Biden just had a cold. They said it was just one off night, akin to when President Obama in 2012 was rusty and seemed a little huffy.
Oh, no. That was more than rusty.
Scenes, make no mistake, most Democratic officials witnessed the same shocking spectacle that you did.
Okay. And then he came out with a book about it. Right? So I'm just looking at this as a realist. Okay. I don't know his agent. I don't know him. I'm like, buddy, okay, the jig is up. All right. Everybody sees through what you were doing. Okay. It didn't work out with Kamala. And now you're up a creek without a paddle. So you decide to write a book about how bad the media was, how biased the media was when you were like captain of the biased media, for goodness sakes, over at CNN. All right. Come on. So, once again, another reason why I think Americans are so tired of the likes of cable and network television, which is why I say cheap, cheap, cheap. Remember that. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Okay, Barry? When you're casting your talent, and it's casting, because I don't think anybody has a whole lot of oomph there. They're going to be looking to you to lead the way. In all seriousness, you've got some on-air talent that maybe can act and read their little scripts in the little prompter, timed out for 12 seconds or 22 seconds or whatever you're going to give them. But you can't pay up big time for the likes of maybe somebody like Brett Baer, who might have a little bit more substance, because you're not going to be able to afford it. And Brett should never want to go there because it only means lights out. Unless you guys have some grand plan, but I'd be willing to bet on myself, right? More than an institution. And I think that's the direction of the media right now, where individual personalities matter more than the institutions themselves, because I think people trust the individual personalities that are willing to tell it like it is and willing to take the heat for it. I mean, heck, hey, not too many people can say they got fired from Fox, right? Like me and Tucker, I guess we're sort of it. Oh, wait, no, maybe it was also, there were a few others. There was, Dan, technically, I don't think he really got fired. I think that was an inability to come to terms because they didn't want to pay. And Dan, being an independent creator at the time, knew what he was worth. So that was more a situation perhaps where they were never going to get there in terms of money, and he has to have a life. You don't want to do every Saturday night. Of course, the poor guy's now out there. Look at that. You want to talk patriotism, doing his part for the country as the deputy head of the FBI. And we have a lot of stuff that needs to get done and a lot of stuff that is fortunately getting done at this moment in time. I mean, whether we think about Letitia, whether we think about Comey, whether we think about Adam Schiff, who may be coming next. I told you to be on the lookout for that one.